Welcome to this video about the business planning tool. These story cards help you explain to farmer groups how planning can be a determining factor in doing farming as a business. The tool includes 8 story cards that tell the stories of 2 different groups. Let's look at both scenarios, starting with the first one. The first picture shows a group of people selling maize. Why do you think they chose maize as a business? In fact, the chief of the group learned from friends that maize is in high demand and with an attractive price. Together with the other members, the chief convinces the group to start growing it as an enterprise. The only problem is that the group did not have enough money to prepare their gardens, and they decide to get a loan from a nearby microfinance institution to buy the improved seeds for the planting stage. In the next picture, we see the group of people at the microfinance institution. They look slightly worried, don't you think? The credit officer has just asked them if they have a business plan to show whether their businesses will be profitable. The chief panics and tells the credit officer that they are working on it. He asks the officer to give them the benefit of a doubt, and he is in a good mood, so he approves the loan. The group leaves the microfinance office happy. The third card shows the group meeting again. Here, they agreed to use the money for the improved seeds. They are wondering what to do with the remaining balance, and they end up sharing it among all members. The only condition is that members work hard in their gardens for a good harvest. From the input supplier, they receive advice to buy fertilizers. However, they already spent the remaining money and cannot get another loan before repaying the first one. They decide not to buy the fertilizer. The fourth picture shows 2 group members and the credit officer. While other farmers who used fertilizers are now able to harvest more than 20 bags of maize, this group only managed to harvest 10 bags. To make it even worse, the buyer was only prepared to give half of the expected price. The credit officer is afraid that the group will not be able to repay the loan and threatens to involve the police. Members thus have to sell their livestock and other belongings so that they can repay the loan. Let's move to the next scenario. In the first picture of the second scenario, we see a group of people standing around to calculate the material cost for maize. Like the previous group, this group also learned of the increased demand for maize. When the idea of selecting maize as one of their enterprises comes up, not every member agrees with the idea and shares her own idea about selecting beans as the better option. The members research both enterprises and compare the cost and benefits through a cost-benefit analysis. They discover that beans are actually the better option, since beans are more profitable and have a steady market price. The second story card shows a happy group in the office of the microfinance institution. They have created a small business plan full of details. They can prove to the loan officer for what exactly they will take out a loan and have calculated the exact costs. They will ask for a loan for improved seed, fertilizer, and labor. The credit officer asks them some additional questions and approves their loan. Next, the group starts opening up land and digging the trenches to plant the improved seeds. The picture shows them going back to the plan they made and adapting here and there. They realized the fertilizer price was higher than expected. However, They agreed to reduce the labor expenses since the fertilizer has a higher priority. The chief keeps the buyer updated on the progress of the beans so that the buyer remains prepared to collect the beans. In the fourth picture, we see the group loading bags onto the buyer's vehicle. Out of the 140 expected bags, the group harvests 130 bags. The buyer comes on time and buys the beans at the agreed price. After receiving the money, the group meets and reflects on their business plan. They establish all the expenses and are able to know how much profit they have made. The profit is slightly lower than what they expected, but the group is still able to pay off the loan, and each member happily heads home with a share of the profit in their pockets. After hearing the two scenarios, facilitate the discussion by asking what participants have learned from the story. After you have learned about the difference between subsistence and business farmers, which scenario represented the business farmers according to you? Why do you think so? Is there something that the farmer group in one scenario did that the other did not do? How is your group if you compare it to the two scenarios?